All right, so ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Thanks for taking the time to fall in on the live stream. First of all, thanks for the panelists for joining me on this auspicious inauguration. We live on Red, first live on Red. So I have you notice how the panel laid out. Look at man bareback in front of his house. We have people just in home clothes. We have people who can kind of dress up. Because this is what we want to talk about. And here the thing. Right, Noel, what's happening? So I have a very special guest with us this evening. Now we only have 30 minutes here. So we want to push this thing. I have a very special guest in the name of Miss Ashley Bednarak from the US. And the reason I asked her specifically to come on, because I know we've seen all kind of stuff on Facebook and Twitter and WhatsApp. And I wanted to get a perspective from a real life American who I know and I could touch and right there. What's happening in the US? What does he feel? What's happening on the ground? What is the real perception and perspective of people with this whole thing? Now, what this is all about? Recently, I'm sure you all have been seeing a lot of talk from government and well, not government rather, but from the opposition firstly, and from different quarters in society calling on the government to, I like the term Cliff used, to slacken or to loosen the stay-at-home measures. Who want people to go back to work, and people want to be able to lime, and who want to go bar, and all kind of different crazy stuff. This, I decided I was just going to do a talk, but I said let me do a live and get other people's perception and opinions. Basically, we want to find out because we have different walks, people from different walks of life. We have people from finance, we have people who are UE lecturers, we have a pastor, we have Ashley who's also a school teacher. We have different people. We have people with other forms of business like Noel and so on. We have an ex-policeman, Mabach Anson Spring, who is inside, and we're expecting a couple others. So you want to get a perspective from people. What do you think? Does it make sense at this point in time to slacken the hold on the stay-home procedures? If you say yes, justify your point. If you say no, justify your point. Who want to go first? Open discussion. Anybody? Nobody want to? I don't call volunteers.
No.
At all.
Somebody said hold on the procedures.
All right.
I mean in terms of the opening and all.
Yes. Well, basically, people are saying that the government is too strict. They're too strict with the stay-at-home procedures, and people should be allowed a little more freedom to associate and to do different things. My question is, obviously we were told that this is being done for a reason. Is that point valid? If you say no, the government should be a little more loose with it. Why so? If we're saying they're not tight enough, maybe. Why so? What could be the possible dangers if the government decides to make it a little more free? As well as what could be the benefits, if any? That is the discussion.
Eric?
Okay, let me take Cliff.
First of all, I think your panel is incomplete. I believe you should have had somebody who representing the government circle, so as to get a better appreciation of why what is happening still exists. You understand? Because I may be making a point in the absence of knowledge or insiders information, which may very well be much more important than what I have to say or anybody else has to say. So I wish you had somebody else from within the government, or maybe you do, but I don't know.
Well, right? I wish so too, but remember, it's just like after midnight I decided to pull this together. So the possibility of actually getting them on would have been slim to none. But point very well taken.
Okay.
Okay, let me say what it is.
Just yes, because no. What? Eric, they're not talking. I have learned that over the years.
Go ahead,
That man, gosh, Eric. I don't think that people are completely aware of the seriousness of COVID-19. We may be aware, but not completely aware. I have been doing some research on it. I've been listening to a lot of videos on it. COVID-19 is deadly. There's no other way to say it. Because it has not hit home, in Trinidad, and I give God thanks for that in a very serious way. We have experienced, what should I say, a mild attack, all right, compared to some other countries. All right, and this is why I believe that the government in this particular situation has handled it very well in terms of tightening and keeping things in a way that would prevent the overwhelming of the medical system, right? And the thing about it is, because we are not, we are happy-go-lucky kind of people. And because we have not been really hit hard, which I would say, compared to other countries, we are comfortable and we feel we could open out. I feel there could be limited control, limited opening of things, which is what the government has put in place, which is what they are doing now. And I believe it is necessary until this thing has shown that it has seriously died off. You know, there's actually a mutation period that this could come back at you with. This thing could mutate and come back at us. And the thing about it is, I have a friend who's in UNESCO in the UN. And when I talked to her, and she said the reports that are coming in daily of deaths and of this disease, it is something else. And I am saying I believe the government has a good handling on it. I believe, okay, I know right now we're losing money. Let's look at the economy. We're seriously losing money. But the thing about it is, I saw a tape this morning, and I'm sure you may have seen it as well, concerning Dubai and what they have done. That is serious implementation, where you can't even leave without getting a
A
pass from the
permit.
police.
They call it a move permit.
A
Yeah.
permit. Right. And you have to get that permit, apply for it and all of that before you can come out. Okay, we're not in that condition. And maybe because we have exercised necessary control, we could probably start to loosen after the 3rd of May when government said it is up to, I think it's the 3rd or the 6th of May. Maybe they can start to reopen things, but with condition. Because this country will throw a party the next day. You understand?
Well,
And
they,
this will be 5 days.
well, they're
Five
trying to
days
throw
you
party
have
all
to,
now.
yeah, 5 days and you're infective, and it's 9 days you start to show the symptom, and it's 14 days you're really bad. By that time, you're done and infect a whole set of people. We don't realize how serious this is. And I mean to say we need to look at that. In that context, I think that for me personally speaking, after the 6th of May, when we can hear what the government has to say on terms of report, in terms of more rights, if there's any more rights and diseases, no more death, less more, then we can look at slackening, but slowly slackening and slackening in certain areas. Because I mean, we need to make money. People need to go out and work and all of that. But they still have to remember there will be a new normal. You can't go. I'm not going out there, so
Let me
laugh
hear
like that.
Noel. Thanks very much, Noel. Donna, let me hear Noel. Noel wanted to make an input. Keshua, what's happening, Barbara? Look, my next batch.
I'm good. I'm good.
Nice.
So good evening, everyone.
Yes.
Right. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Eric on this particular show called Red. I think this is the 4th series I've seen all so far, and it's a very good initiative. And this particular topic is pertinent to the times that we're living in. So first of all, imagine that there's a serial killer let loose, and he's doing havoc worldwide. Some terrible terrorists doing bombings and attacking and so on. One of the first things that you will do, of course, you will sensitize people about this terrorist and the terrorist activities that are happening, because you want to protect your citizens. But you will also want to find this terrorist. You want to find out who is this Osama bin Laden virus terrorist. They're making this virus seem so intelligent that this virus can attack the entire world and decimate the world and destroy the world and destroy the economy totally. To my understanding, based upon research and analysis, there's something funny about that. There's something suspicious about that. And I think with all the top virologists and bacteriologists and all these top who's who and politicians and so on, we need to clamp down, number one, on the origin of this virus, where this virus came from, not as in Wuhan, mainland China, but the origin of the virus, number one, because you're dealing with an unseen enemy. We'll also advocate that the government is doing a pretty good job at what they're doing in regards to the self-quarantine, as well as if you're coming into the country, like with the case of the people who were caught on the cruise ship, that they go into self-quarantine and testing and so on. I wholeheartedly also agree with ramping up the testing, because there may be people who are here, as in the case with Carnival, who may have had the virus asymptomatic, not revealing any symptoms, and eventually the virus is spreading. So I think the lockdown, the period that the government gave, is a reasonable time, and I think they should, upon evaluating that time frame, taking everything into consideration holistically, the finance, the situation of the poor, the crippling of the economy, and so on, medium and small enterprises, that within a reasoned sense, taking everything in consideration, they should start to open up. But they have to evaluate the condition as it is right now before they do that. But just one more point before I close on this point, is that government needs to be truly independent and not only dependent upon information from the so-called scientists at the World Health Organization, the Center for Disease Control, or the National Institute of Health. They need to take their own initiative and look into procedures and protocols, how they can do this. Because at one point in time, the Minister of Health was saying, don't wear the mask. But where did he get that information from? The World Health Organization. Even though there are documents showing that the World Health Organization since February knew to some extent this virus is airborne. So the government, while they're doing a pretty good job, and I agree with the quarantine and the time framework, they need to be a little more independent and have more local and regional researchers and scientists analyzing this whole process and act accordingly. Thank you.
All right, thank you very, very much. Thank you. And let me just welcome a couple guys. So I have Mr. Keshwa, who is again one of my former colleagues. And well, you know, we remain colleagues even though we out of the job, but you know, one of my former colleagues. Also Mr. Agbe Samorin, another one of my colleagues. Some really, really good gentlemen, has some real good insights, and I hope they get a chance to share something. Because we just have about 15 minutes to go. Yes, man, right answer here, because I really wanted to hear you. Now we're shifting it slightly. We want to jump to the US a little bit, and here's how. We have a US citizen who lives in Trinidad, who is currently here, and we have a Trinidadian who is currently living in the US on the chat. So from their perspective, I want to get a little taste, just to kind of see from another perspective what's happening because you know we said when the US catch the cold, we blow the nose, some kind of trippiness like that, right? You understand it all? So we want to get a little taste of what is happening in the US. What is the perspective? Because that call is also happening in the US. In fact, there was recently a few places where certain beaches or whatever was opened up to the public.
Yeah, Florida open back beaches. I think Georgia looking to open some businesses today and tomorrow.
Right, and you're hearing both sides of the coin. So I want to ask Keshwa and Ashley if they would weigh in, what is the feel in the US? Of course, we talk about Trinidad, but what is the feel generally in the US where that is concerned? Who wants to go first?
Correct.
Anybody?
Ashley, go.
Okay. So I think it really depends on where, like what state the person's living in. So I have a friend in Colorado, and she's just hiking on all these trails, having the time of her life. Her job has her laid off for a little bit, which she actually needs the downtime, and she's just hitting the trail. But then you have New York, where obviously there's just so many people. I have a friend there. That person's essential. So these are all according to what these people are saying, right? So just based on what they said, Central Park has been open, which I thought that was kind of interesting because all those people, and then here we are, you know, we have things closed up. But a friend of mine lives right in the heart of New York City, and he said that there's been a few suicides. He hates just being in that atmosphere. I have a friend in Tampa, and yeah, so some of the beaches were closed and they were starting to open it up, and she sent me this picture. I can show you. I don't know if you guys can see it very well. It's a map of the United States. Okay, so yes. The white areas have, so this is April 20th. The white areas have less strict lockdown stuff going on. So the white areas are where you can like do more, but it still varies from state to state. So all of that orange is like more of that heavy lockdown. So today's my mom's birthday, and they're actually taking a drive to the Olive Garden restaurant to go pick up food to take back home. They can't dine in because we're an orange state, but they are able to pick it up, which I thought interesting because Trinidad, we have everything, it's closed like that. So yeah, it just really depends on different states. I feel like a journalist. I got my notes here and everything.
All right, let me ask Kesha. Kesha from Trini living out there. What was it?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Yeah.
So I basically live in Central Florida, and we have just short of 1,000 deaths. I mean, among just in the Florida area. And what is happening is that for the most part, people are obeying the state regulations and laws for the most part. Obviously, there are people who still think this thing is a hoax. But me personally have had several people that's close to me, friends, family, who have relatives that have passed because of this virus. So I take this a little differently from I guess people who is not being affected in any personal way. Yes, some of the beaches are open, but it's only for exercising, and it's no bathing and sunbathing and all that kind of stuff going on. It's just for running and I guess, fishing and stuff like that. But they still have to observe that 6 foot,
social distancing.
Yeah. So yeah, for the most part, we're basically, I'm still working. I'm an essential worker, and when I go to work, like I just came from work, I only encountered say maybe 5 people on my job, and literally we don't even be within 50 meters of each other. So it's pretty much, I would say safe for me to do what I'm doing. But a lot of people is home, a lot of people is unemployed. It's just crazy. I don't think life will ever return to its former self. I don't see it in the near future. I don't know if this is going to be a change of a way of life for us. But, on another note, I'm a Trinidadian by birth, so, I know how Trinidadian people don't like rules. They don't like to conform to rules. It's a culture that we always go against the grain, so to speak. So, we need to change that culture. That's all.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much, Keshra. Let me jump in. Cliff, you want to say something? Right? Yeah.
Who is this?
Cliff, you wanted to say something?
Okay, yeah, I can go ahead now. Yeah. Well, first of all, I hear you say that you have a pastor in your room, so I hope I'm not playing devil's advocate here. All right? All right. Yesterday, with regard to the local scene, so I'm talking about from a Trinidad perspective, all right?
Yeah.
I personally feel we don't know, like Brother Noel said, we operating without a lot of information. So for instance, just today, I saw where somebody sent me some information suggesting that the virus stays within your body for 37 days. No, if that is so, it suggests to me that if that really is so, then of course there is reason to continue this operation. But let me ask you a question, Eric. Do you remember when all this quarantine method and things started from? Was it March 1st? Am I right?
I can't remember the exact date, but somewhere in March.
Right. I want to suggest that because of that
March.
When?
Okay, thank you.
When was it?
22nd of March. Yeah.
No. If I am not mistaken, tell me.
Oh, sorry. The 22nd of March was the closing of the borders. So it was a week before that. Yeah, it was a week before that.
Right, so the 14th. But I remember, I'm making a point. I remember Ash Wednesday. On my phone, I am seeing a note across my phone from the Ministry of Health advising that, hey, don't operate within groups. I don't know if you all can remember that. And I say, but this is laughable because the government had no problems with Carnival. right? You allowed all the persons coming. I don't think anybody was turned back at the airport. I didn't see any news where anybody was turned back or bad entry for Carnival. Yet, as Carnival finished, the next day, I am seeing on my phone where the Ministry of Health is putting out this information. So it suggests to me that, hey, hand not talking to foot, right? So I am saying it from the word go, there has been mixed signals by the government. No, come March, you start to see they ramp it up and say, listen, hey, we want to put this in place and so. I can't get vexed with people after when they still want to have Zesta party because they saw where we just came out of a carnival season. I am saying that the government did not set the tone right from the word go. And I am also suggesting that we are making more than it is. I am not in Trinidad I'm talking about. All right? Because if this is such a pandemic, that carnival chaos that should have ensued did not happen. Whatever the reason is, the coronavirus was contained. And don't tell me it was contained because of social distancing, because all the damage would have been done up front during the carnival celebrations where people were, it was sweat, rubbing up on sweat, going back home to different people, and there was still between the social distancing program, there was about a week or two after carnival when all this could have taken place and there was no epidemic in the country. I am saying that I believe too much is being made about this. If it was to be as atrocious as it would have been, you would have seen the damage done long ago. All right. So I'm just talking about in light of that.
Yeah, thanks, Cliff. I had to cut you a little bit because still have some people. I want to hear them talk. Mr. Agbe, Anson, my brother Marlon, who is the pastor, Muriel, ain't talk yet. And the man who inspired this whole thing, he now come. I wish I could have hit him, Mr. Peter Edwards. Right. Agbe, go ahead.
Yeah. I understand what he called the last a while ago.
Speaker.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would want to disagree to a point. We are surrounded by water as far as the so-called first world people thinks or see. Whether people believe it or not, we take instructions from the outside world. As Eric just said, when them sneeze, the other white people goes here. So we were just waiting on instructions from them. Process anything we put in place now is based on their instructions. Now, if we decide to go against their instructions and something adverse happens, doggy we suffer. Plain and simple. I'll give you an example. How powerful the outside world is to us. We have an oil industry, had an oil industry, and we had downstream products from that oil. Do you know that the wax used to make sheet polish that we used to use a lot, Eric, is manufactured in Trinidad? But we can't make a thinner shoe polish. Because we were given instructions not to make any shoe polish. And if you look at the pattern in all these...
Export the raw material. Export the raw material.
Yes. It's so-called... all the raw materials is harvested. It had to be exported to the so-called first world countries to be refined and sold back to us. You understand? So, them leaders and them too much because them taking instructions. Enough said.
Thank you. I'd be very interested in viewpoint. Answer coming on that.
Yeah, I just want to jump on from Cliff and Agbe. And the fact of the matter is that whilst I am no conspiracy theorist, but to go back to Cliff's point about carnival and so on, remember, as this thing started in December, by January 30th was the first announcement from the Minister of Health, listen, all non-essential travel should cease, right? And I think that a week after that, they had put the initial three countries, which was China, North, South Korea, right? You didn't want travelers from there coming in. So that was the first attempt. But in terms of carnival, remember, people were all shouting, well, listen, the Caribbean Carnival. Now, in our lifetime, the only time we would have known that Carnival was interrupted was in 1972, that inspired Lord Kitchener to write the Rainorama Calypso. When in that year, Carnival was, I believe, put back in May and so on. And they just wait for, right? And that because they had a polio outbreak. But the bad thing is the Carnival wasn't even cancelled. They were just postponed. And that was, this is over 40, this is what, 48, 47 years ago. And that was the mentality then. Remember, people were talking about the investment in Carnival, how much money people paid out, all hotels were booked and things. So I guess wrongly, that dictates how the government saw this thing. But after Carnival was finished, they started to ramp up this thing. But a good point on how we have taken instruction. Right here in the Caribbean, you have Cuba, which has been doing some impressive work medically the last 50 years. But because of the embargo that they put on us in 1959, all that Cuba has done is belittled, even though they are a member of the UN and they in all the things. Because of the embargo has strictly restricted Cuba's ability to share what they have done with us. And in terms of, I think, HIV, they use their therapy has been interferon, which has proven to be very effective against the HIV. And they are doing research with respect to using interferon to use as a treatment for the COVID-19. How many of us know that? You wouldn't know that, but I'm an internet junkie and I go on all different sites because this thing is about fighting a pandemic. And in my opinion, right, I've said it privately, fellas, Eric and Agbe and Keshwa, but the order that has existed in the world from since the end of World War II, which incidentally is what, 74 years ago this year when World War II ended, that is why it's crumbling. And sad to say, normal, as we have known it for the last 50 years, is gone. It's gone. Look, yesterday was World Earth Day, right? And I'm saying that because of the human movement being restricted, the environment is seeing a benefit. You're hearing birds chirping. Look, in Venice, Italy, in the canals, you have dolphins back in the canals and so on, right? So I am looking at it as an opportunity, yes, to shift the paradigm for everything. Economically, how we treat each other as human beings, but basically what we have as important to all of us. And the things that are important, this is what COVID is saying. If you're a trillionaire like Jeff Bezos, you could get the disease and die. The homeless man, he was passing on the street, he might have more resistance to COVID. And the sad thing about it is that you're dying on your own, by yourself, with nobody around to hold your hand and say, I love your son, I love your dad, I love your mom. I directly have lost one friend who I went to school with last week in New York. And incidentally, he was over for Carnival. Went in on March 15th and never came back out. I have another friend who has recovered so far. And she gave a very chilling description of what they said. She said, she was on CNC Street earlier on in the week, and she said, picture cement on your chest, a bag over your head, and they just put a pinhole to allow air to come in. That is how the COVID experience was for her. Thankfully, she is recovering. And I am saying that all the calls to free up.
All right, hold up a minute, guys. I see other people want to jump back in. We literally have just 2 minutes on this again. I really want to hear my brother, Pastor Marlon, and I was hoping to hear Muriel's input as well. But before we do that, quick, will you all be interested in doing a part 2 to this?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So here's what. At the 2 minutes, well, we have about a minute and 3/4. We're going to finish this one. I'm going to set up a part 2, but this time we'll have more time. We won't have a time limit to work with. and we could take, because some interesting thing coming out of this. Ashley was just informing me that a friend of hers who was supposed to be on the chat, who lives part-time in Sweden, there was no lockdown in Sweden.
Wow.
No lockdown in Sweden. But before I go there, let me give Marlon 1 minute. You have a minute and a quarter. Make an input.
No problem. Good afternoon, everybody. So one of my questions would be, no lockdown in Sweden. What are the effects or non-effects? That would be the follow-up to that issue. Secondly, there's a whole lot of information. There's a whole lot that none of us know. We hear all the different sides. There's a lot of information on social media. We do not know which one is true from which one is false. There's a lot of information coming out gradually as time passes that contradicts previous information that was given by the authorities, by the specialists and whatnot, and the scientists and so whatnot. As to how this thing actually works and how it doesn't work, when it actually started in one area from when it did start, and all that kind of stuff.
30 seconds.
Right, so I want to go here. I am a pastor, and I have been directly affected by this semi-lockdown in Trinidad and Tobago. Right? I am paid a salary for what I do as a pastor, and now that we on lockdown, I am affected by this.
Wow. All right, guys. Well, we definitely will have to be doing a part 2. So as we confirm with the guests, so we will start where Pastor Marlon was just unfortunately cut short. So we will start back part 2. I will let you know when that date will be. It will be very soon, and we will continue from that point onwards, because and there's a specific reason why I asked him, of course, and the other people who come from different walks of society and are affected one way or the other. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for taking the time for viewing our first live. As I said, read the channel, and we will be coming back with more. But at this point, this is where we say goodbye for now, and see you next time on Red.